the Yankees lose another series and another series to the Seattle Mariners. Really similar situation where the Yankees won the first game against Seattle at Yankee Stadium. They do the same so at Seattle, and they lose the next two. Some really tough losses in this one. Um, the Yankees had a long, I think it was a 10 series road streak that was snapped against the Mariners. This is the first time they lost. I think it would have broken a Yankee record, actually. This is the first series loss at the Mariners since 2011. And the first season series loss is 2002. So the Yankees, who have really had the Mariners numbers for basically about 2 decades or so, really dating back to the turn of the century, the Yankees really, including playoffs, if we want to go back to 2000 and 2001. But the Mariners win 4 out of 6, and that was without Julio Rodriguez, their young budding star. For the Yankees, a lot went wrong. The Yankees have lost so many close games recently. That's a major thing here. So the Yankees are now 71 and 41. For the longest time, they were winning, blowouts and close games. They were winning all the time. And now they just lose close games regularly. They find ways to lose. That's what it is. Whereas they were finding ways to win in any form, now they'll find any possible way to lose. And in this one, the starting pitching was consistently, I'll say this, for Tyone, for Garrett Cole, for Nestor Cortez, really, really good job collectively by the three of them. That was a good thing. The starting pitching was a plus. But the offense, which was good in game 1, I'll give them this. They've been good against Logan Gilbert. It again got shut down by Luis Castillo, who I was hoping the Yankees would get, and they didn't. And then it was shut down by Robbie Ray until it wasn't. But then the bullpen, namely Albert Abreu, fucked up that. And don't even get me started on the bad base running. The 13-inning debacle in game 2, the Cole Castillo game, the base running was atrocious. I believe the Yankees were about 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position in their last 2 games. The offense is problematic. Matt Carpenter goes on the IL with a fractured foot, which occurred in the beginning of game 1. He will be out approximately 6 to 8 weeks. So that's a big thing here. Matt Carpenter, who was a really big piece, is now on the shelf, and maybe we won't see him again this season. Like, that's on the table. We might not see Matt Carpenter again. I hope we do. I think we might. I think that we will see Carpenter, but what version of Matt Carpenter will we get? He's defied odds, and he's really been very, very good. And he was in my sort of visions and plans of being in that lineup versus righties, at the least. So now that's, basically fucked. Anthony Rizzo returns in the last game of the series. You hope the back spasms are behind him. That's one of those things that might come back every now and again. But Rizzo returns. I don't really understand why he couldn't pinch hit in game 2, right? Like, if he was good enough to go in game 3, you couldn't just pinch hit him in game 2. Like, I don't get that. Stanton, you hope he's back soon. I doubt he'll be back for this upcoming Red Sox series, but you hope for the homestand that he'll be back early in that homestand. So just another series loss. Yankees still have a very healthy AL East lead. Very healthy AL East lead. I'm not going to be concerned about that. But as I've stated time and time and time again, the Astro race is very important, and the Astros have already passed the Yankees. They've already passed them. So, yeah, I'm not really too optimistic, and I know there's ebbs and flows in a baseball season. It's a long season. This is just a reminder that it is long. It is long, and there will be good times, and there will be bad times. But if I'm looking at this realistically, I do think the Astros will finish ahead of the Yankees. I just do. That's just the fact. It's not a fact, but that's my opinion. I really, in looking at this objectively, I think the Astros will finish number 1 in the American League, and that is a daunting task to go. Let's say in a best case, you're facing the Astros in the LCS. That will not be easy when the Astros have home field advantage. The Yankees, as I see it, are a much better home team. They really are. And you take that out of the equation, that will be challenging. But that's jumping way ahead. The Yankees right now have been struggling for a while. Since the All-Star break. Since, honestly, for me, right around since Father's Day, really. If we want to go back that far, you could. And that's around the time of that 4-game set home against the Astros. But I guess maybe that's not totally fair. Really, though, since the beginning of like July, right? I mean, you're looking at like a month and a half. I think, a month and a half of really, really poor play. Poor play, and again, like it's not like they're getting blasted out of the park, but they're losing close games regularly. They're not really winning many of them. Like, let's just say you had 8 or 9 close games. The Yankees are probably losing 7 or 8 of those, like out of those 8 or 9. That's what it feels like, and I think that's probably true. So there's a lot to get into. What comes to mind for me right now is really just poor decision making by the front office and on down, where Albert Abreu, and I'll say this, Albert Abreu, I like the arm, I like the potential. I've said that. I am an Albert Abreu defender. With that being said, he deserves to be designated for assignment. He does. Ron Marinaccio and Clark Schmidt, like, they should be on the roster over Abreu and Lucas Licky. If we're being completely fair about it, if it was based on what was deserved and there were no contractual obligations or anything to do with that, Ron Marinaccio and Clark Schmidt would both be on this roster. And I think eventually they will, but the fact that you have Albert Abreu, really pitching in very crucial spots, it's partial bad luck and it's partial just mismanagement that a lot of the lower leverage guys I've noticed, Abreu namely, has been pitching in really key situations where some of your better guys have been pitching in games where the Yankees are losing. And so, again, that's just a day-to-day bad luck thing where, the 13-inning game happens. And so, but the point is that Abreu in the high leverage spots has not been getting it done at all. And so if it came out that Albert Abreu was designated for assignment and Ron Marinaccio was recalled, that would be a good thing. Do I think it'll happen? No, I don't. I don't think it will happen. I don't think Abreu is going anywhere anytime soon. So, and there's a bit of a stubbornness to it. There really is. But that's just bad right there. But that's recency. Let's jump back to the beginning of the series. And it's a rematch, Jamison Town versus Logan Gilbert. The key difference. So Gilbert again struggles, even more so in this game. And a good job by the Yankees. Look, Logan Gilbert is a really good pitcher. And he gave the Yankees trouble last year. And maybe that in some ways kind of, in my mind, puts him on a higher level than he actually is, right? Like, he's a good pitcher, though. I'll be fair to the Yankees here because in my mind, the Yankees have a really tough time hitting elite pitching. And Logan Gilbert's not elite, but he's good. He is. And the Yankees got to him. The key difference, Jamison Tyone does a really good job. And he improves his record to 11-2, which is very misleading, but it looks nice on that, on that stat sheet next to Tyone's name. And maybe it'll help him. He's a free agent this offseason, being 11-2. Not a bad look for him. But Tyone had really been bad lately. And so this was a nice bounce back. Like I said, Carpenter gets hurt right away in the first inning. He would finish the at-bat, but he'd be done. But this is the one game where the Yankees, the bats were alive, and from players that really hadn't been giving them much when you think about this season. Josh Donaldson explodes, has a 4-hit night, is a triple shy of the cycle, has like 3 extra base hits. Andrew Benintendi had maybe his best game as a Yank, and I'm still looking for more from Benintendi. Glaber had a pretty good night. I'm still very frustrated with him. And then, of course, up at the top, LeMahieu and Judge do well, and Aaron Judge, with a couple more home runs this series, he is up to 45 at series end. Aaron Judge continues to be that consistent piece. Just has been amazing. Even with the Yankees struggling, Judge has continued to be just simply amazing and is very, very deserving of that American League MVP. So in this one, the Yankees jump out to the early lead, and it's thanks to a 2-run single by Josh Donaldson. Then in the bottom of the first, though, Mitch Haniger, who returns to the Seattle lineup. We didn't see him at Yankee Stadium. Haniger homers, makes it 2-1. So you're thinking, all right, I guess Tyone might be kind of fucking up again, but he would settle in. And Josh Donaldson continues to really have a monster night. Solo shot Donaldson makes it 3-1. Then you get an RBI double by Andrew Benintendi, and it's a 4-1 Yankee lead. In the bottom of the fourth is when Tyone would really get into his like sort of most trouble. There was some walks involved, including a bases loaded walk to J.P. Crawford, but he's able to get Kyle Raleigh to ground out. So the damage is limited, and so the Yankees, remain with that 4-2 lead. Then Andrew Benintendi, a 2-run double for him, makes it 6-2, and then a sac fly for Connor Falefa. As at this point, Gilbert's out of the game, makes it 7-2. In the seventh, Tyone is still in there and gives up a homer to Cal Raleigh, makes it 7-3, and Tyone would go 7 innings, 3-run ball, take that every single time. In the eighth, Aroldis Chapman pitches a scoreless eighth inning. He has improved lately. Again, I've said it a million times. I don't really trust Chapman, but he's been good lately. No questions there. Then Aaron Judge homers off of Ryan Borucki. Borucki, former Blue Jay reliever, makes it 8-3. And then by inning's end, Jose Trevino adds an RBI single. 9-3 Yankee lead. Clay Holmes comes out of the ninth, struggles a bit, which we've seen a lot from Clay Holmes. Sam Haggerty, who was a thorn on the Yankee side all series, makes it 9, cuts the lead 9-4, but the Yankees would win. Holmes finishes it off. Yankees win 9-4, so a good start to the series, similar to how it was at Yankee Stadium. But the results flip, just as they did at Yankee Stadium as well. Difference is, those times the starting pitching was really bad. Here it wasn't so much that. It was more of the offense that really could not get it done, and then the bullpen in the last game, Albert Abreu, that fucked up. So game 2, Cole Castillo lived up to the hype. This time, Cole, bad at Yankee Stadium, really good here. Garrett Cole, 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. That's the thing with Cole. He can give you that. You just want it more consistently. Garrett Cole has had some real bad clunkers. You take some of those out, he would be in that Cy Young conversation, but you can't take out those clunkers. That's just the way it works. So Cole, really, really good stuff. I'm happy about what I saw there. But Castillo goes 3-hit ball for 8 innings, no runs. And so in this one, Miguel Andujar is recalled. So Andujar takes the roster spot of Matt Carpenter. And with Andujar, I just think the 2018 magic is gone. He was one of my favorite players back then. Miguel Andujar was brilliant back in 2018. But ever since then, I blame the Yankees in part, but I blame Andujar too. And I just don't think anything is going to amount there. I don't think this ends in Andujar, really resurrecting what was. Maybe somehow with another team it could happen, but with Andujar, he is called up, but it is a major step down for Matt Carpenter. And there was a lot of ugliness in this one. I think we should just sort of jump to later in this game. Again, Cole and Castillo were really good. Bottom of the 8th, Chapman pitches a scoreless 8th. So again, Aroldis Chapman doing a good job. You like to see it. And then in the 9th, Clay Holmes survives a hit by pitch. And I'm thinking, here we go again. But then Holmes gets a double play and a ground out. And so good job by Clay. That was a big outing for him. He needed that, and he gets it done. Here's when things start to get ugly. You get the runner on second base and 2 straight innings. The Yankees, and not even this inning here, but it could have been, it was 3 straight innings where the Yankees had base running errors that you'd never see. Quite honestly, embarrassing and unacceptable. So Josh Donaldson is hit by a pitch by Paul Sewald, and Locastro pinch runs for Donaldson, which I didn't really necessarily agree with that, but that's a conversation for another day. Not a huge deal, honestly. But Andrew Benintendi is picked off by Paul Sewald. Benintendi just trying to be too aggressive. First and second spot. Now, look, I got to be honest. I don't think Gleyber Torres or Andujar were going to get the job done, but that's not the point. Terrible job by Benintendi. He gets, picked off, and Locastro moves over to second. What follows up there is a Gleyber Torres ground out to the pitcher, and Miguel Andujar strikes out. Part of the 10th, though, give credit to Scott Effross. Effross is able to keep the game alive. got a little bit scary with the Cal Raleigh line out to end the inning, but Efros gets it done, and so we move to the 11th. Matt Festa comes on and relieves Paul Sewald. Here is a bit of bad luck where Aaron Hicks scolds it right to the second baseman, and Miguel Andujar is thrown out at second. Andujar needed to freeze, and for some reason he froze and then moved forward, and he's out. He might have been out anyway, but he ensured that he'd be out by moving forward. So bad base running by Andujar, and so that inning is squashed. We go to the bottom of the 11th, and Wandy Peralta pulls some sort of Wandy magic as it's eventually first and third, one out, and he gets a ground out to him by Carlos Santana, and it's a little bit of a risky move, but it works. He goes for the 1-4-3 double play, and it works out. It was a good throw, a pretty good throw to Gleyber, and he gets what turns out to be an easy double play with the slow Santana. Now we go to the 12th, and this kind of culminates it all. The trilogy, 3 straight innings of just ridiculous boneheaded base running, and a little bit of bad luck again, I suppose. But Trevino and Connor Falefa both are out. So Trevino's on second. Matt Brash is on. And Brash makes a nice play on a Connor Falefa ground ball, I should say. And Trevino's kind of caught in no man's land. Unfortunately, he doesn't get enough of a rundown. He gets tagged out, and then Connor Falefa gets tagged out going to second. Connor Falefa had to make sure that Trevino was going to sort of extend the pickle play, because Connor Falefa, that's just too aggressive right there. And you got to know the situation. You had LeMahieu and Judge coming up there. You being on first base would not have been the end of the world anyway. So LeMahieu strikes out to end the inning, and so Judge, you know at that point, all right, Judge is going to be intentionally walked the next inning, which he was. So we go to the 12th, and Wandy gets a pop out of Adam Frazier, then Trevino comes on. Lou Trevino gets into it's a little bit of a tricky situation. There's a couple of walks, and it ends up in a bases loaded, full count situation, game on the line, and he strikes out Eugenio Suarez. So a good job by Trevino to kind of get out of that. Then in the top of the 13th, Judge is intentionally walked, and Benintendi strikes out looking. Again, Andrew Benintendi, it hasn't been good enough. Benintendi, I had higher expectations. I need to see a lot more from him. A lot more. Marlon Gonzalez walks. Marlon comes on out of that Donaldson hit by pitch, Locastro pinch run. Marlon Gonzalez walks, bases loaded, and this pissed me off to no end. Gleyber Torres, it's a 1-0 count. Matt Brash is a guy who, has poor control. He just walked Marlon Gonzalez. He just threw a ball to you, and what does Gleyber do? He swings at a pitch out of the zone, and eventually he strikes out swinging. Gleyber Torres is a frustrating at-bat to watch. He just is. To me, I'm sorry to say it, Gleyber Torres is a losing baseball player. He's got talent. He's a losing baseball player. That's it. It's how I felt with Gary Sanchez. Now, is Gleyber better than Gary Sanchez? Yes, he definitely is. But that's not a guy I want on my team if I want to really take it to the promised land. So he strikes out, and then Miguel Andujar grounds out. No surprise, because that's what he does. So we go to the bottom of the 13th, and Jonathan Loaizaga, who it's been a nightmare year for Loaizaga, and that only continues. It's a single for Cal Raleigh. He does get a ground out of J.P. Crawford. Then he intentionally walks Sam Haggerty, and it's bases loaded. 0-2 pitch to former Yankee prospect Luis Torrens, and Torrens gets a game-winning RBI single. A bad 0-2 pitch by Loaizaga, and what was a crazy wild game. It kind of reminded me of the one Yankee game I went to this year against the Cubs. It was the same thing. It was a 1-0 final in 13 innings. Weird how it happened again. This time, because this is the time of year it is for the Yankees, they lose it. They win back then, they lose now. That's what happens. So now we go to the rubber match, the rubber game of the series. And it's Nestor Cortez versus Robbie Ray. And this was another really good pitchers duel. Nestor Cortez was brilliant in this one. He had a no-hitter through 5 innings. And Anthony Rizzo returns. Andrew Benintendi would sit versus the lefty. We'll see if that's a theme, but it happens here. And the Yankees offense was completely shut down by Robbie Ray for a while. I mean, Robbie Ray did have 5 walks, to be fair, through 6 1/3. So the Yankees did get on base, but didn't really have a whole lot of real great chances. But Nestor was awesome. 6 innings. He ends up giving 3 earned runs. One of them was thanks to Abreu. 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. So Nestor really is back to what he had been, which is a great sign. I think Nestor, the consistency has been really good. It was a little bit of a blip, but I like what I've seen from Nestor. But for the Yankees, just can't get anything going. And then, again, this is similar to the night before. We go to the 6th. Sam Haggerty does it again against the Yanks. It's a home run. It breaks up the no-hitter by Cortez. He had it 1 out into the 6th. No-hitter over, shutout over, tie over. Yankees are losing. Haggerty homer. But in the 7th, the Yankees would score their 3 runs. A really nice 1-out walk by Kiner-Falefa. Then a really great 2-run homer, full count. Kyle Higashioka, it's his 7th homer of the year. So Higgy has been better lately. Higashioka has been at the plate a lot better. Much better at bats. I got to give him credit. Trevino definitely deserves to be the starter. But Higashioka has been more formidable and putting together a much, much better offensive stats lately. So it's 2-1 Yanks, and that's it for Robbie Ray. His day is done, and Aaron Judge extends that lead to 3-1, his 45th homer of the year. So Aaron Judge makes it 3-1. We go to the bottom of the 7th. And in the bottom of the 7th, it would be where the Yankees would lose the game. You needed Nestor Cortez to go through 7th. I kind of wish that they, in hindsight, I wish that they pushed Cortez further. It didn't happen, and Abreu came on. This was kind of that sweet spot where the Yankees were really thin in the pen. It seemed like all they really had was Wandy Peralta and Scott Effross in terms of guys that you kind of trust. Like, I suppose Jonathan Loaisiga was available. Certainly Albert Abreu was available. Lucas Licky was, but you don't trust Licky in a high leverage spot. So this was like a tough, sweet spot, and it did not work out. And this is where you really wish you had Ron Marinaccio. So Ty France, it's an 0-2 single. So Cortez is sort of losing a little bit. Then it's a pass ball by Kyle Higashioka, which was not good. Higgy can't do that. And then Mitch Haniger. Mitch Haniger appeared to be struck out. A 2-2 pitch that it looked like it hit the corner. And what's frustrating about that is the ump was a pitcher-friendly ump all game long, but he didn't give Nestor that call. And eventually you get an RBI single by Haniger. And that would be it for Cortez. And that was, again, a big missed strike 3. It kind of got lost in the shuffle. Abreu strikes out Suarez. All right, good start. But then the big blow occurs. It's a Carlos Santana 2-run homer to give the Mariners a 4-3 lead. Abreu would eventually finish the inning, but the damage was done. Diego Castillo comes on in the 8th for the Mariners, puts down the Yanks 1-2-3. Wandy Peralta gives the Yankees a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 8th, and that's frustrating because you wish you could have avoided using Albert Abreu. There had to have been a way to avoid that. Like, I understand the struggle, but that's just frustrating. And then the 9th, Paul Sewell comes on and he strikes out Benintendi, who again needs to fucking improve. And then Kiner-Falefa lines out and Higashioka pops out. So the Yankees go down. Once the Yankees went down 4-3, they went down 1-2-3 in the 8th and the 9th. And so that's that. So now the Yankees will head to Fenway to face a struggling Red Sox team. I don't think that matters, though. In terms of Yankees, Red Sox, throw that out of the window. Disregard that. So the matchups appear to be Domingo Germán versus Nate Eovaldi. I kind of would expect a lot of runs in that game, and you can't love that matchup. Game 2, Frankie Montas versus Cutter Crawford. Like, let's see where that one goes. And then Game 3, Sunday Night Baseball, will be Jameson Taillon, and the Red Sox have not announced their starter for that one just yet. Just thinking off the top of my head, there's a chance that could fall to Rich Hill, but maybe not. But yeah, I wouldn't be completely shocked if that could be Rich Hill's assignment for that Sunday outing. Possibly. So again, it's not as if Eovaldi, Crawford, and then maybe Hill, maybe someone else. Like, that's not scary. But on the Yankee end, Germán, Montas, Taillon, not so great either. Hopefully Taillon can kind of continue what he did at Seattle, but I don't think it matters that the Red Sox have been struggling. They really have been. The Red Sox, as I record this, they still have one more game to complete versus the Braves. But as I record, and against the Orioles, it's a makeup game versus the Orioles. The Red Sox are right now 54-57. Like, they are in free fall. I mean, the Red Sox, it's not looking good for them. For me, though, I don't even take that into account, really. And so I think that this could be a challenging series for the Yankees. They have to find a way to win it. Win 2 out of 3. I'm not asking for a sweep. I'm not expecting a sweep. I'm just hoping for the Yankees win 2 out of 3. And you're looking in this series, looking ahead, you're looking for Frankie Montas to kind of rebound after a really poor first start against the Cardinals. So again, this sort of nightmarish road trip continues. The Yankees are 1-5. on this road trip, and the Yankees are in a really, really rough way, and hopefully things will improve. But again, Yankees lose another series to the Seattle Mariners.